governments to do exit screening.
Federal government increases travel ban to 15 countries to contain the spread of COVID-19.
This is the first time a Nigerian president without strike, without protest.
Leaders of All Progressive Congress commend President Buhari on proactive approach to safeguarding national health security. FCT resident doctors suspend strike as leadership of House of Representatives intervene.
It's a welcome development for the country.
Plus, correspondents examine the level of compliance on reduction on petroleum pump price by filling stations across the country. Good evening and welcome to the news at 9 on NTA. I am Jumwa Yusuf, the captain of the news ship tonight. I have on board Jennifer Igwe in Lagos and Jenny Bassi in our Port Harcourt studio. Thanks for joining us. As COVID-19 continues to spread its tentacles across the world, the federal government has added Austria and Sweden to the list of high-risk countries on its travel ban as part of efforts to contain the spread of the coronavirus pandemic, bringing the number of such countries to 15. Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Henry, who announced this in Abuja while updating the media on the coronavirus pandemic, also confirmed a total of 12 cases in Lagos, Ogun and Ekiti State. Health correspondent Rabi Abdullah has a report.
The coronavirus pandemic has spread to all the continents of the world except the Antarctica. The influx of imported COVID-19 cases into the country by travelers, including Nigerians returning, make it absolutely necessary for the country to keep reviewing its case definition.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control is working closely with Lagos, Ogun, and Ekiti state governments to carry out contact tracing. I emphasize that the contact tracing is an extremely important but also arduous task, and I urge all state, local government, law enforcement authorities, and community leaders to give full cooperation to investigators.
The minister emphasized the need for states to urgently scale up investments at subnational level, especially in contact tracing and standard emergency isolation centers. In Abuja, Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government has banned all international flights to Kano, Enugu and Port Harcourt to combat the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Secretary to the government of the Federation and Chairman Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, says consequently the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport Kano, Akanu Ibiam International Airport Enugu and the Port Harcourt International Airport Omagwa will be closed to all international flights only effective from midnight of Saturday 21st March 2020. However, the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport Abuja and the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Lagos will remain open to and accept international flights irrespective of the type of operations. All stakeholders are enjoined to collaborate with Port Health Services in the identification of suspected cases of COVID-19 at points of entry and to bring such persons to the attention of the Port Health officers for appropriate action. Meanwhile, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 urges all Nigerians to remain calm and cooperate with the instructions already issued by the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs and Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) on modes of worship and gatherings at this time not exceeding 50 persons. Meanwhile, Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika says there is every likelihood that all international airports in the country would be closed to incoming flights in days to come. Sirika disclosed this to newsmen at the State House in Abuja.
There is a Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, to which I am a member. But certainly and definitely at some point, these airports, all of them in Nigeria will be closed. And I think it's the safest thing to do because these things, they multiply exponentially. But for a better brief, I think we have the forum, the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. They will come out with a statement. We would issue the necessary notices to airmen as at what time they will be closed. And I think it will be very soon. It's better safe than sorry.
To curtail the spread of COVID-19, the Senate Committee on Health has called on the Ministry of Health and the Presidential Task Force on Coronavirus to immediately suspend self-isolation and subject all persons entering Nigeria to compulsory quarantine. This was part of advice from the Senate Committee when the team briefed it on the status of the virus in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko has an update.
This is the second time the Minister of Health will be visiting the Senate to brief it on COVID-19. At this rescheduled meeting, the Senate committee observed that some persons who entered the country, even from high-risk nations, refused to embark on self-isolation, thereby increasing chances of possible spread.
You either come in with a test that says they are free, or if you are not, either you are free or not, it's not voluntary isolation. It should be compulsory isolation.
There are also requests to foreign airlines and governments to do exit screening.
The minister reaffirmed the concerted efforts of the Presidential Task Force and also spoke on the purported use of chloroquine in the treatment of the virus.
Chloroquine, the information that I have is that chloroquine has in vitro neutralizing effect on the virus, but it's not confirmed in vivo. But again, our clinicians will have to advise us whether that's necessary or not.
At the moment, we have 5 functional labs. So far, we've tested just over 100 people because we've been applying a fairly strict case definition.
And we are assessing country readiness, both from ground zero to different levels of escalation.
Morenike Alex Oko, Director of Port Health Services of the Federal Ministry of Health, observed that some highly placed Nigerians do not adhere to the screening rules at the entry points.
We still have VIPs who push past us at screening, and the other day we had a military officer whisked away by his colleagues even though the officer had tipped that he had a fever.
The Presidential Task Force on Coronavirus has also called for the active involvement of state and local government in containing the scourge of the virus, as this will aid in tracking contacts fast. As it also called on all Nigerians to report any person hiding from screening. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Unko, NTN News.
The governing All Progressives Congress has expressed formal appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for the bold steps taken so far towards safeguarding national health security, as well as approving some palliative measures to Nigerians in response to the impact of COVID-19 on the economy. National Chairman of the party, Adams Oshomole, stated this while briefing newsmen after an audience with the President for the first time since the last meeting of the party's National Working Committee in Abuja.
These are challenging times, and our President is showing leadership just as we expect of him, putting Nigeria first, supporting businesses, and passing on not just the burden of drop in oil price, but the benefit of that drop. And for me, having been active in this politics of oil pricing, this is the first time a Nigeria president, without strike, without protest, without editorials, without commentators saying it, by his own conviction, he says this drop in the price of crude must be reflected in a drop in the price of PMS. And for us, as party leaders, we think he deserves commendation. I also appreciate the prompt proactive step taken by the CBN by making funds available to support businesses that are affected by coronavirus. And everywhere around the world, governments are rising to the occasion, and we are happy that Nigeria, under President Muhammadu Buhari, has also taken bold steps to protect Nigeria by stopping foreign airlines from flying into the country, particularly from countries that the virus has become already a pandemic.
State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that Oshomole was at the villa to formally introduce former Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi to the President as the new Deputy National Chairman South of the APC. In another development, environmental health Officers in Nigeria are building collaborations to sustain and improve surveillance of high-risk areas in the country as part of measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. Onegie Fine Face reports that the officers are requesting for increased manpower to effectively carry out this mandate.
COVID-19 infection rate in Nigeria remains relatively low due to containment procedures initiated by the federal government. Central to that procedure is the isolation and management of the index and other cases. Environmental health officers are mobilizing available manpower to support the containment of the pandemic.
All the organs of environmental health in Nigeria are coming together so that we can build and develop a roadmap where we can be able to address these challenges of the pandemic that is facing the global public health concern.
We have 7,000 officers serving the tumultuous over 200 million Nigerians. And this is a far cry from what the WHO, World Health Organization, recommended ratio is, which is one environmental health officer taking care of 8,000 of the population.
Right now we need a lot of few environmental health officers.
The Federal Ministry of Environment already has plans to optimize the services of environmental health officers to prevent COVID-19 spread and promote healthy lifestyle, especially by improving sanitary conditions of communities and cities in the country. In Abuja, Onengie Fine Face, NTA News.
The education sector is also feeling the heat of COVID-19 as the National Universities Commission has ordered the closure of Nigerian universities across the country in order to curtail the spread of coronavirus. The Director of Corporate Communications of the Commission, Ibrahim Yakasi, spoke with our correspondent Aliu Tukur.
We did not only close the institutions and ask the students to go home, we also have directed that there should be no large gatherings of people, say in events like convocation, any activity in the university or in the College of Education or in a polytechnic that will attract a lot of people. It's also suspended for at least 1 month. So no more convocation, apart from the fact that all students must go home. From Monday, some may even start from today, because Monday is effective work day, so Monday 23rd. But in some institutions, I'm sure they will allow them to leave campus this weekend.
And from across the country, states governments have continued to respond to the threat of COVID-19 with stringent measures, including shutting down schools and other public places. Naja'atu Tijani has the situation report.
In Ondo State, Olajide Bello reports that the government has announced the closure of schools, including primary, secondary and tertiary institutions. In a statewide broadcast on 19 March 2020, Governor Akeredolu said, contrary to rumors, there has been no case of death from the virus, while a suspected case is being investigated. The governor also revealed a strategy for protecting the people against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Roll out a sustained media campaign on the COVID-19 infection.
Similarly, Rivers State government has directed all public and private schools to shut down from Monday 23rd March 2020, while in Benue State, Bem Hanya reports that the government has directed all schools in the state to shut down by March 27th to guard against the pandemic. Meanwhile, Victoria Kaswa Ojito reports that 5 persons suspected of having symptoms of coronavirus have been isolated in Kefi, Nasarawa State.
Felt that we should give it the highest precaution that was possible. And that was why, right from the point of receiving him, we decided that he should be isolated.
As the coronavirus pandemic keeps ravaging the world, with Nigeria getting its fair share, the Ministry of Water Resources is rolling out a strategic campaign to improve on the water supply, sanitation and hygiene in the country, with plans to partner relevant organizations. The aim is to make public health more efficient. Oluche Adeago has details.
You may have heard at some points that water is life and sanitation is dignity. And as the number of deaths owing to COVID-19 continues to rise in parts of the world, Nigeria is witnessing an increase in number of cases, making personal hygiene a necessity. This prompted the Ministry of Water Resources to roll out the drums in a work campaign on the importance of personal hygiene. The exercise was terminated at the premises of the NTA's headquarters, so the Water Minister explaining the task ahead while describing NTA as a crucial partner in the process.
This threat of coronavirus is one of the things that we've been worried about, and that's why all these years we've been campaigning for personal hygiene, for having a society that cares so much about sanitation.
Water is life. Water plays a very important role in humanity. Here present, we have managers that will be able to manage this vital information in such a way that it will be disseminated to all the major stakeholders and all the people in Nigeria.
This explains the theme of this year's World Water Day, Water and Climate Change, a deliberate move to analyze global challenges in the provision of clean water to the people. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
The House of Representatives says the suspension of the strike action by resident doctors in the FCT following intervention of House leadership is a welcome development at this period of global health challenge. The Nigerian Medical Association, during a meeting with the House Committee on Healthcare Services, reiterated the readiness of members to work with government to ensure stability in the provision of health services to those in need, considering the coronavirus pandemic.
The Nigerian Medical Association and indeed doctors all over this country are also part and parcel of this struggle to ensure that we treat all patients that may come down with the COVID-19 as well as any other illnesses affecting Nigerians generally.
To call on the FCTV to please look at the way of complementing those that are working for the past 5 months without pay. I believe the FCTA can find a means of sourcing money as rightly suggested by the NMA President.
The Speaker House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila early this week met with representatives of FCT resident doctors and appealed to them to suspend the strike action they embarked on over issues pertaining logistics and condition of service. This is NTA Network News. Let's take a break now. When we return, more reports. Don't go away.
So, you now want to pick my call?
Then bomb me where? Mommy of life. Toilet, mommy.
Where my car?
Mommy, now small things remain.
If my car not ready before Kokoro for tomorrow, me and you go put leg inside one trouser. One lie.
Lost my phone. Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Not cut this phone, no. All right, yes, ma.
Hey, Magel,
Kini.
Mommy, no be you. Don't waste your credit. When I finish, I go call.
You call me. Me wear my middle name na credit. Where Glow they give me boku.
Glow and Mebo. Get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555* PIN hash.
This talk people. I beg give me my phone, make I go, Joe.
Ah, talon so talk yen.
With the current confirmed case of coronavirus disease in our country, it's important that we spread facts and not rumors. According to the NCDC, wash your hands regularly with soap under running water and use hand sanitizers frequently. Cover your mouth and nose properly with tissue paper when sneezing or coughing, and immediately dispose of the tissue in a covered waste bin. If a disposable tissue is not available, cough into your elbow. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness such as coughing and sneezing. Verify any information on coronavirus disease from the NCDC. Remember, your health is in your hands.
This message is brought to you by Dettol Clean Niger in partnership with the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and the Lagos State Office of SDGs and Investment.
Barawa Old Boys Association, Abuja branch, invites you to the 2020 Annual Leadership Lecture. Keynote speaker, Malam Garba Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity. Topic, Media and Democracy, Challenge of Journalism. Chairman of the occasion, Malam Nasru El-Rufai, Governor, Kaduna State. Special guest of honor, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired. Honorable Minister of Defense. Chief host, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, Honorable Minister of the FCT. Chairman, Buba Branch Abuja, Professor Salihu Y. Ingawa. Date, March 21st, 2020. Time 10 a.m. Venue, Royal Hall, 3 Gamal Abdul Nasser Close, near World Bank, Asokoro, Abuja. Organizing Committee, Announcer.
It is morning, a new beginning. As you prepare everyone for the day ahead, just anything is not enough. Only you make breakfast special, creamy, tasty, with vitamins and nutrients we need for a delightful, healthy start.
So start your day right with Hollandia Evap.
Hollandia.
The Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Sahili Magashi, retired, LLB, BL, DSS, CFR, wishes to announce the indefinite postponement of the official launch and public presentation of the revised Nigerian National Defense Policy, NNDP, and the National Workshop on the effective implementation of the NNDP, which were scheduled to hold on Tuesday, 24th and Wednesday, 25th March, 2020. The inconveniences are highly regretted, please. Announcer, Mrs. Nuratu Batagara, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense.
In Nigeria, there is one sound we need to silence. So let's silence toothache before it starts with Oral-B All-Round Protection. Its advanced technology helps prevent both tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your teeth, giving them all-round protection. Because the only sound we really want to hear is that of our future. For healthier, stronger teeth in 1 week. So sad.
You're feeling blue cause you got nothing to do. You need to step up to the max deal. Living good. The max deal. Go TV.
Step up to the max deal. Get GoTV Max for less this month. GoTV. Live it, love it.
My name is Dr. Duko Umarata. I'm the Director General and Chief Executive of the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN. In our nation drive to boost its economic base through non-oil export, SMEDEN has taken the challenge of industrializing our nation through a program called OLOP. OLOP is a program which identifies a product in a local government that has competitive and comparative advantage. And the aim of the program is to reach the 774 local governments and help the nation to industrialize. With the support of the federal government, SMEDEN was able to reach 218 local governments in our country by providing the cooperative group training, workspace, equipment, and working capital. We call on all the critical stakeholders in MSME ecosystem, as well as the international development partners, to join us in our vision to transform the economy of this country under the transformation agenda of Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. In SMEDEN, we have a slogan, think big and start small.
Following the announcement of travel restriction measures taken by the federal government to contain and manage the spread of COVID-19 on Wednesday, 18th March 2020, the Presidential Task Force has, as part of the continuing engagement with members of the public, found it necessary to provide answers to the following frequently asked questions.
What is restricted entry?
It means you are not allowed into the country if you live in or have visited these countries in the last 14 days.
As a Nigerian returning home, does restricted entry apply to me?
No, you will be allowed into Nigeria, but subject yourself to supervised self-isolation for 14 days after arrival.
As a diplomat, does restricted entry affect me?
No, you will be allowed into Nigeria, but subject to supervised self-isolation for 14 days after arrival.
I am resident in Nigeria, but hold a foreign passport. Does restricted entry affect me?
No, you will be allowed into Nigeria, but subject to supervised self-isolation for 14 days after arrival.
I'll be transiting through one of the 15 countries to get into Nigeria. Does restricted entry affect me?
Yes. If you have been to any of the countries mentioned, you will not be allowed into Nigeria except you are a returning Nigerian, resident, or diplomat.
When does this come into effect?
Saturday, 21st March 2020. The task force wishes to encourage members of the public to furnish or seek information and clarification through the COVID PTF NCDC 247 helpline number 080-097-000010. Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Announcer.
You're welcome back. FCT administration has directed that religious gathering for now should not exceed 50 persons as part of measures to prevent the spread of coronavirus. This follows an emergency meeting with religious leaders which was attended by FCT CAN chairman and his executives, as well as leaders of Islamic bodies and those of the National Mosque. Members of the security agencies, the Inspector General of Police, Director General Department of State Security, FCT Police Commissioner, as well as the Minister of State for the FCT were in attendance. Special Assistant on Media to FCT Minister Abubakar Sani, while briefing the media, says the essence of this restriction is to make the tracking of suspected cases, if any, easier for the health authorities. He, however, advised residents not to engage in panic buying and also seek for information about the disease from FCT Public Health Department and other agencies of government. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed formal appreciation of the federal government to the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria for reducing the Hajj fare by up to 15%. Receiving the newly appointed chairman and members of the commission, the president described the reduction as a timely response to the impact of the recent global events on the economy. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Officials of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria were in the State House to show appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for the confidence reposed in them to provide efficient and effective services to the nation's pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. The chairman of the commission, Zikrullah Kunle Hassan, used the opportunity to brief the Nigerian leader on plans and activities for the journey of faith this year. Top on their agenda, he said, is the reduction of Hajj fare by between 10 to 15% without reducing the quality.
In order to achieve this, we visited the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and we succeeded in reducing the cost of Meccan accommodation between 4% and 19% in 20 states. I'm happy to inform Mr. President that this act of reduction in both Meccan accommodation and the airline screening will reduce the entire cost of services to billions of naira. We still await your kind approval of the composition of the Board of Trustees of the Hajj Savings Scheme. It is when we have an Hajj Savings Scheme that the going to Hajj of poorer people can be made easier.
He also informed the president that the Saudi Arabian government has selected Nigeria as one of the few countries to benefit from the Mecca Route initiative aimed at easing immigration difficulties to pilgrims. President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated the National Hajj Commission officials for the measures being put in place towards ensuring successful Hajj exercises by the nation's pilgrims, especially the reduction in Hajj fares, which he described as a worthy initiative.
I'm pleased to hear that you are working with the Ministry of Health on protecting our citizens. As a government, this is now a key priority for us. I therefore enjoin you to ensure that adequate medical provisions and other welfare requirements are afforded to our pilgrims.
The president, however, tasked the Hajj officials to work assiduously towards guaranteeing the safety and security of Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia.
This is commendable, especially now that the recent global events have impacted our economy. Such savings will be timely and most welcome to the pilgrims as well as to Nigeria's economy. However, as you assess and review these costs, you must ensure that quality service and comfort is provided for our pilgrims. This is the core mandate of the Commission and must remain your primary goal.
Addressing newsmen later, the chairman of the commission, Zikrullah Kunle Hassan, said the coronavirus pandemic notwithstanding, as people of faith, they are optimistic that the 2020 Hajj exercise will come to be, saying, however, that the commission will never be reckless. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still staying with the presidency, end users of premium motor spirit across Nigeria received the news of the federal government review of the pump price of petrol from 145 to 125 per litre with joy and gratitude. However, members of the public are yet to feel the impact of the reduction, as many fuel stations still sell petrol at the old pump price.
From Enugu, Chiye Fesiokoye reports that Nigerians see the move as a step towards making life easier for them. However, many filling stations in Awka, the Anambra State capital, are yet to comply with the order, except the filling stations owned by the NNPC.
I'll be buying 145. They never reduce that, and I'm still buying the same thing I'm buying.
It's a welcome development for the country. And although it's not enough, we are still expecting more.
In Abakaliki, the Ebonyi State capital, Chinasa John reports that motorists are displeased about the filling station's refusal to comply. Our correspondents who also monitored the level of compliance in Ilorin, Benin, Lagos, Makurdi, Port Harcourt, Lafia and Birnin Kebbi have similar stories to tell.
I've not seen a filling station where this directive has been effected.
That some people have been closing their filling station now, I can see. I just rush in here to buy what I want to buy. And I'm not buying at that price. I bought at normal price, 145, 143.
It is only in NNPC I can get it at 125.
Fairly this morning, we have changed the price to 125 naira per litre, as been said by the federal government.
In Kano, however, our Salisu reports that the situation is different.
We effect the change soon after receiving the directive.
We are happy because we see that the reduction of this price of this petrol has bringing more development.
A significant portion of Nigeria's demand for petrol is sourced from outside the country. Olabo Darewa, NTA News.
Good news in a dire situation. Now talking security. The Nigerian military says several Islamic State of West Africa province leaders and fighters have been neutralized and their dwellings destroyed in a cluster of settlements west of Alinwa on the green fringes of the Lake Chad in northern Borno State. In a press statement by the acting director, Brigadier General Bernard Onyeko says this was in an air interdiction by the Operation Lafia Dole during the ongoing subsidiary Operation Decisive Edge. Intelligence reports indicated that some top ISWAP commanders and some of their fighters and designated suicide bombers have assembled at the location for meeting aimed at orchestrating coordinated attacks against a number of targets in Borno State and environs. Fighter jets of Operation Lafia Dole were then dispatched to the location, recording hits on several structures housing the ISWAP leaders and fighters, destroying them and neutralizing their occupants. Nigerian Air Force says it has achieved more than 70% serviceability of aircraft in its inventory and will continue to do more to achieve sustainability in the years ahead. The good news was disclosed at a two-day seminar for aircraft engineers in Kaduna. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachuku reports.
Seated here are senior air officers selected from the engineering specialty for the seminar, which aims at enhancing and reinforcing the culture of self-reliance in aircraft engineering and maintenance towards timely deployment of air power to safeguard the territorial integrity of the nation and sanctity of human life. Participants at the seminar are optimistic that the initiative will reposition the Nigerian Air Force for better performance.
When we are able to do our technical manpower development in such a way that we become self-reliant, then we'll have more aircraft to fly. We have better ability to project air power.
In a message, Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, acknowledged the strides being achieved in developing local contents in the Nigerian Air Force in the last 4 years.
With this
if the resolution of this conference is well implemented, we expect that most of our spares will be produced by the Research and Development Center.
In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun, NTA News.
Talking judiciary matters, the Court of Appeal Abuja Judicial Division has set aside judgment of the FCT High Court that sacked Senator Ifeanyi Ubah of the Young Progressives Party from the National Assembly. Delivering judgment on the appeal filed by Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, the court held that the entire process that led to the judgment of the lower court was a nullity. Austin Ayambe reports.
Senator Ifeanyi Ubah approached the Court of Appeal praying that it set aside judgment of the FCT High Court that sacked him on the allegation that he submitted a forged NECO certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission during the 2019 election, which he won. He predicated his appeal on the ground that he was denied fair hearing as he was neither served with the originating processes nor hearing notice with respect to the suit that led to his sack from the Senate. More so that the FCT High Court lacked the territorial jurisdiction to hear and determine a pre-election matter that arose from an election in Anambra State. The Court of Appeal, presided over by Justice Stephen Ada, in delivering judgment, considered all the issues for determination and resolved them in favor of the appellant, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, saying the lower court did not follow a diligent process before its judgment, particularly that the senator was not heard in the matter, as fair hearing is fundamental in any judicial proceeding. It further held that the FCT High Court, Abuja, lacked the territorial jurisdiction to entertain the matter, and consequently decisions reached by the court was a nullity and set aside. From the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
To other matters now, the campaign to give equal opportunities to women cuts across all aspects of national development, and in continuation of the celebration of International Women's Month, the Minister of Women Affairs is taking the advocacy to different sectors of the country. The minister met with her counterpart in transport, where the Minister of State, Senator Gbemi Saraki, advised women to venture into shipping as a business that can earn them the needed fund to participate actively in politics. The delegation also reached out to the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, where the minister urged the ministry to facilitate loans through Naxim Bank to enable women develop and grow their businesses. The Nigerian Television Authority has continued to be appreciated by the movie industry, with the latest being the award at the 7th Africa Magic Viewers' Choice in Lagos. Veteran producer and former executive director of programs of the authority, Peter Igo, who retired at the pinnacle of his career, was among the award recipients. Bosede Abel reports that Peter Igo has, however, returned to his professional alma mater, the NTA, to rededicate the Lifetime Industry Award to the largest TV network in Africa.
Will he ever hear the sound of the cockcrow at dawn?
That was the moment Peter Igo received his latest recognition for his professional career at the NTA, coming many years after he retired. And Peter Igo is back at the NTA to acknowledge the role it played in making him who he is, as the management led by the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibi Mohammed, received him as he presents the Lifetime Industry Award earned from NTA's iconic productions.
My first stop, the award itself was not just for me, but for the entire NTA that made it possible, that gave me the environment, that provided the environment and the support that made it possible for me to achieve all the things they said I achieved.
Mr. Igo left NTA a long time ago, but he's still reaping the fruits of his labor in NTA. He's been recognized. There's no way you can talk about television drama in this country without mention of his name.
Malam Yakubu Mohammed explained that it is vast experience, competence, and professionalism of Mr. Igo that has prompted NTA to be working again with him to reintroduce one of Nigeria's best TV series ever, Village Headmaster. In Abuja, Bosede Abel, NTA News.
Quiet commendation, collecting laurels even after retirement is quite an achievement. Moving on now, President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with Governor Ifeanyi Uwahyan of Enugu State as he clocks 56. The president in a statement rejoices with the governor's family, friends, political associates and the government and people of Enugu State on this auspicious occasion of his birthday anniversary. He acknowledges Governor Uwahyan's broad-mindedness and commitment to the peace and unity of the nation as the governor marks his birthday. President Buhari urges him to rededicate himself to providing the needed development to the people of Enugu State. He prays God Almighty to grant Governor Uwahyan a long life as he continues to serve his people and humanity. Time to pause from here now, and we join Jennifer in Lagos for more reports. Hello, Jenny.
Thank you, Jumai, and a warm welcome to Lagos. Now, our first story is on COVID-19. Now, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has advised residents to stop panic buying of chloroquine, foodstuff, and other household items. The governor, who gave the advice in a statewide broadcast while giving an update on the spread of the coronavirus, emphasized that social distancing remains the best way to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the state. Nosa Osula has the report.
Sanwo-Olu confirmed that cases of COVID-19 are 11 in Lagos State, but clarified that the patient infected by the index patient is free of the virus and has been discharged, while the index patient himself is now negative and would be discharged any moment from now. The governor directed all tertiary institutions in the state to abide by an earlier directive to shut down all public and private schools immediately, and also appealed to operators of bars, nightclubs and similar public places to follow the advisory on social distancing.
We're also extremely prepared and capable of containing the threat that the COVID-19 represents. Our biosecurity isolation facility at the mainland infectious disease hospital Yaba is equipped and able to contain the disease.
Governor Sanwo-Olu disclosed that following the resolution by government and religious leaders to stop large social gatherings, law enforcement officers have been ordered to effect arrest and dispersal of large gatherings to prevent the spread of the virus. Following reports of people being treated for chloroquine poisoning in some Lagos hospitals, Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, appealed to members of the public to desist from self-medicating, as no drug test has certified the drug as a cure for COVID-19. In Lagos, Nosa Osula, NTA News.
Now, away from COVID-19, consumers have been reminded that their right to sustainable environment is sacrosanct, and government, business operators and consumers must collaborate to achieve this. This was the consensus at a stakeholders engagement program to mark the 2020 World Consumer Rights Day in Lagos. Tunde Saiki reports that the theme is attaining sustainable consumption in Nigeria.
Sustainable consumption is the use of goods and services in a way that minimizes negative impact on the environment for the benefit of present and future generations. This involves giving preference to materials that can be reused and recycled to avoid wastage and harm to the environment. Therefore, sustainable consumption is a multi-stakeholders task to positively change the narratives to one that will not only safeguard the environment but also enhance the welfare of consumers.
That before this time next year, we would have a stronger regulatory framework around how businesses operate and how consumers approach the question of sustainability, because it's a big problem. It's a problem that affects the environment.
To protect consumers from hazardous technologies as well as regulate products and services for the purpose of safety and sustainability in Nigeria.
Stakeholders agreed and adopted certain principles considered to be vital to sustaining and protecting the Nigerian consumers.
All the items that are manufactured continue to see themselves in the system, especially packaging items. And that is actually what circular economy is all about.
Consumers, let them not wait until they start getting to find them when they throw waste unduly onto the streets before they start disposing their waste properly.
The conference resolved that parties must be committed to a broad-based engagement to further promote and develop the principles and the regulatory framework in the interest of Nigerians. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Thank you, Tunde. This is NTA Network News. We still have more for you, but first a break, after which Jumai will continue in Abuja. Stay tuned.
Welcome to our wonderful world of data with these incredible new offers from your #1 4G network nationwide.
Your trusted juice and refreshment brand in Nigeria comes another first. Introducing the new cool Chivita in can. Enjoy the same great taste.
Maybe say now today or 4 days when my girls won't come visit and I need to come go expire.
Oh my guys, they can't follow me watch this match. I must not fold the hand.
Babe, what's happening now? Sorry to disappoint you, but my subscription don't expire.
The match is not on my GoTV package.
Now your holla be that. I beg, give me your phone.
Make I show you how you go take do it for my GoTV app for your phone.
Life is so much easier with my GoTV app. Make payments, clear error messages, change your package. You can also check your due dates and keep abreast of your payment history.
With the corner,
The new My GoTV app is everything you need in one place. So what are you waiting for? Download My GoTV app now from Google Play or App Store to enjoy the easy life. GoTV. Live it, love it.
Nigerians, coronavirus is dangerous. It can kill. When you see this sign, high fever, cough, shortness of breath, drowsiness, pneumonia, don't panic, don't hide. Don't embark in self-medication. Promptly visit the nearest medical facility. Report all cases to the nearest hospital. Prevention is key. Avoid contact with infected persons. Avoid crowded areas as much as possible. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Your life is precious. Stay alive. Live long, live right. This message is sponsored by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and the Nigerian Film Corporation. Nigerian Film Corporation, powering possibility.
That channel where you watch just now don't waka. No panic.
There's me no panic.
You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Yeah, press OK.
Wow! Now you fit catch all those channels will be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your groove for no loss. You see as I do, Abi?
And I see as I do,
GoTV. Live it, love it.
And I see as we do,
Thanks for staying. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, has restated commitment toward the growth and development of the small and medium enterprises and SMEs. Managing Director of the corporation, Umaru Ibrahim, gave this assurance during the NDIC Day at the ongoing 31st Enugu International Trade Fair. Chidi Okorafo reports.
Managing Director, NDIC, J. Umaru Ibrahim, represented by Enugu Zonal Controller, Mrs. Veronica Obo Ikwe disclosed that the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, aligns with the federal government's determination to grow the small and medium enterprises as the veritable platform for job and wealth creation, economic diversification and development. Mrs. Obo Ikwe emphasized the role corporate governance plays in enhancing the growth and development of SMEs.
As a critical component of the Nigerian financial safety net, the public policy objective of the corporation is the protection of depositors of licensed banks, as well as promoting public confidence in the financial system.
President Enugu Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, represented by the First Deputy President, Jasper Ndwagwike, among other things, commended the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, for their role in building confidence amongst bank depositors, thereby helping to grow the Nigerian financial sector.
Permit me to use this opportunity to encourage CBN through its regulatory framework to make the work of NDIC much easier by ensuring that the chances of bank failures is reduced to the barest minimum.
The event featured interactive section and raffle draw as prizes were won. In Enugu, Chidi Okorafor, NTA News.
Amid shrinking revenue sources to fund infrastructure, the Federal Inland Revenue Service is poised to deploy technology and strengthen enforcement in tax collection through training and retraining of its workforce. To that effect, a two-day retreat on tax operation is underway in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
In an era of dwindling global economic fortunes, the FIRS Tax Operation Group agrees not to be doing enough in revenue collection. The leadership seeks to change the trend by rejigging its operations through this particular retreat. With the theme, Rediscovering Our Pathway to Success, the place of teamwork, the FIRS seeks to bridge the gap in revenue caused by the drop in revenue from oil. David Ogedingbe, a tax administrator, shares the Lagos experience.
We collect close to 80% of the collection target for FIRS, and the strategies that we have always adopted is to work on the segmentation.
While insurgency has affected revenue collection in the Northeast, Mohamed Itu is determined to replicate the Lagos model through capacity building.
By and large, we're still within the threshold of 50-55%.
Management of the service say a target of 8.5 trillion naira given to the service would be surpassed.
There are two streams of revenue: the revenue that comes through the administration process and the revenue that comes through enforcement.
Technologies will help us to see that much of those taxes are captured automatically.
With plans being rolled into action, coupled with the experiences of Lagos State, other states in the country are expected to redouble efforts towards meeting the FIRS self-target of 9.3 trillion naira revenue for 2020. Benny Adams, NTA News.
As the fourth edition of the Technology and Innovation Expo comes to an end, stakeholders urge SMEs and entrepreneurs to identify inventions and invest for the commercialization and mass production of the developed technologies. One of such exhibitions is the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASINI. Justin Bem Unyi reports on the agency's contribution to the nation's expo.
5 days now gone, and that marks the end of the 2020 Science, Technology and Innovation Expo. A program that witnessed continuous exhibitions in the various pavilions of research institutes, tertiary institutions, junior engineers, technicians and scientists, and state governments, the military and the informal sector. Being the fourth edition of the Expo, it also came with a focal aim of accelerating commercialization of results for national economic growth. And as the Minister of Science and Technology declared the Expo closed, he warns investors and entrepreneurs to take advantage of opportunities exposed by researchers.
As I moved round the pavilion, I was convinced more than ever before
that there is no need for our dear country to be importing from other countries many of the things we now bring into our country from outside.
So, but no any research and development can translate into product and services if you don't protect the intellectual assets. So our here is to sensitize them and to assist them in patenting their technologies. People are reluctant to do it, maybe because of the cost. And now we have pledged to even bear the whole cost of patenting any Nigerian technology that has potential to translate into product and services.
Outstanding inventions from different categories judged to be most impactful were recognized and awarded to respective researchers. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA.
We take another break now. Sports and audio reports when we return.